हे बच्चों, वेलकम टू kantipankh। तो आज हम लोग पढ़ने वाले हैं A Work of Artifice by Marge Piercy। Now who is Marge Piercy? Marge Piercy was born on March 31st, 1936 till present in Detroit, Michigan. She is an American progressive activist and writer. She was the first of her family to attend a college, winning a scholarship to the University of Michigan. Her works include Woman on the Edge of the Time, He, She and It, which won the 1993 Arthur C. Clarke Award, and Gone to Soldiers, a sweeping historical novel based on the World War II, and a New York Times bestseller as well. Piercy's work is rooted in her Jewish heritage, communist social and political activism, and feminist ideals. Now with the poem, A Work of Artifice. What does an artifice mean? Artifice का मतलब होता है an act of deliberance and clever deception, यानी जानबूझ के चतुराई से किया जाने वाला छलावा is an artifice. Let us see how. The bonsai tree in the attractive pot could have grown 80 feet tall on the side of a mountain till split by lightning. But a gardener carefully pruned it. It is 9 inches high. Every day, as he whittles back the branches, the gardener croons. It is your nature to be small and cozy, domestic and weak. How lucky little tree to have a pot to grow in. With living creatures, one must begin very early to dwarf their growth. The bound feet, the crippled brain, the hair in curlers, the hands we love to touch. अब इस पोएम में बात की जा रही है एक बोनसाई ट्री की. What is a bonsai tree? Bonsai is actually a Chinese and Japanese horticultural technique जिसमें एक पेड़ को जब वो एक पौधे के रूप में होता है तब उसे ले लिया जाता है और उसे कुछ ऐसी शक्ल दी जाती है, उसे कुछ इस तरह टाला जाता है कि वो उसकी प्रजाति के जो बड़े पेड़ हैं उनके मुकाबले वो काफ़ी छोटा होता है साइज़ में, पर उन्हीं की तरह होता है, बस साइज़ में छोटा होता है. ठीक है, लाइक अ मिनिएचर साइज ऑफ द वेरी एग्जैक्ट ट्री ऑफ दैट सेम स्पीशीज. That is a bonsai. Now, the bonsai tree and the attractive pot जो हमें सुंदर से गमले में दिख रहा है could have grown 80 feet tall, यानी वो शायद 80 फुट लंबा होता on the side of a mountain, पहाड़ के पास होता तो till split by lightning, जब तक बिजली कड़क कर उसे दो भागों में बांट न देती. But a gardener carefully pruned it. It is 9 inches high. लेकिन जो gardener है he has carefully trimmed it. Okay, काट छाट करके. So that is trimming. So the gardener has carefully pruned it. It is 9 inches high, यानी वो सिर्फ 9 इंच ही लंबा है. Every day as he whittles back the branches. Whittling क्या होती है? Whittling is a process जिसमें चाकू से उन branches को काटा जाता है. That is whittling. So every day as he whittles back the branches, the gardener croons. What is crooning? Crooning is singing in a soft, low, soothing voice. Okay, यानी गुनगुनाना. So every day as he croons, the gardener croons, he says, it is your nature to be small and cozy, domestic and weak. How domestic? घरेलू, because the bonsai tree has to be kept at a home. Domestic and weak because bonsai tree needs a lot of attention and care. That's why weak. Small and cozy as it is dwarfed, hence small. Cozy because trimming and pruning and giving the bonsai a shape needs a lot of focus, concentration, and the process is relaxing as well. That is why cozy. So it is your nature to be small and cozy, domestic and weak. How lucky little tree to have a pot to grow in. यानी वो पेड़ कितना भाग्यशाली है कि उसके पास एक गमला है उगने के लिए. Okay, with living creatures one must begin very early to dwarf their growth. यानी जीवित प्राणियों के साथ ये बहुत जल्दी करना पड़ता है. ये गार्डनर, ये जो माली है वो कह रहा है कि जीवित प्राणियों के साथ one has to begin very early to dwarf their growth. The bound feet. Now अभी इस लाइन से जो कवयित्री हैं उनका जो तात्पर्य था इस पोएम को लेके, उनका जो रियल जो मीनिंग था, what she meant to say, these lines, with these lines we are getting to know that. What is the bound feet, the crippled brain, the hair in curlers, the hands you love to touch. अब इन लाइन्स में she has moved away from the metaphors and she has taken the real part, that is what she was actually meaning to say. Because the bonsai stands as a metaphor for women in the society. Why the metaphor of bonsai tree? Because the bonsai tree symbolizes lack of growth and freedom. जहाँ पे उगने की जगह ना मिले, जहाँ पे आज़ादी ना मिले, that is bonsai. Okay, that is a symbolization of bonsai. So, and the patriarchal society is the gardener. The gardener is a metaphor for the patriarchal society. The mountain is a metaphor for the support provided by the families, by anybody. That's on the support. That is the support. So, had the women of the society who are sitting in an attractive pot, that is who are looking at us from an attractive house, could have reached their fullest potential had they been on the side of a mountain, that had they been supported by the people of their family, the society. Had they been supported, they would have reached their fullest potential. They would have reached great heights. But a gardener carefully pruned it. But the patriarchal society has carefully trimmed them in such a way that they are not allowed to go beyond a certain limit. That is why gardener carefully pruned it. Every day as he whittles back the branches, the gardener prunes. So every day as the patriarchal society whittles back the wings of the women. Okay, the poetess is trying to say this, that every day as the patriarchal society is clipping the wings of the women, they are putting it inside their head that it is your nature to be small and cozy, domestic and weak. How lucky you are, you do not need to go out and work. How lucky you are that you don't need to be independent. We need to be independent, we need to earn for the family. It can be anybody. It can be their father, it can be their brother, it can be their husband, it can be their son, it can be anybody else who is not related to them, but from the patriarchal society, who comes up and points out fingers at them and says that you do not need to go out and work. Why are you so independent? It can be anybody. But because the gardener is crooning them, is saying to them in a very loving way, they are brainwashing them that you don't need to go out, you don't need to be independent. You can be dependent on us, we will take care of you, but you just sit back at home, do domestic chores, sit still, look pretty and do nothing else. That is what the poetess is trying to convey the message from the poem. How lucky little tree to have a pot to grow in. The same thing is said to women as well, that how lucky you are, you don't need to go out and work. We go out and work and we do a lot of hard work. This is said to women on a very daily basis as well. When a fight comes up in certain houses, the men of the house stand up and say that you don't go out and work. We go out and work. So as we say, this will the things which we say will be coming up in the house. It will be done as we are said. These kind of things are said to women. Yes, this message, this images, because Marge Piercy is living till now and she has seen the society from a very close point of view. That is why she is conveying this message from the poem, that the women of the society need to come up and need to be independent. And how has this been happening with them? Now, with living creatures, one must begin very early to dwarf their growth. The growth of the bonsai tree has also been dwarfed. Along with that, the growth of the women has also been dwarfed. It has been put till a limit. Beyond that limit, they are not allowed to go. The bound feet refers to as the Chinese practice which was prevalent in the past, but it's not prevalent right now. So, a Chinese practice or a custom where the women had to bind their feet. How? It was known as lotus feet. Okay. So, this was the process that, for example, this is the thumb toe and these are the rest of the toes. Okay. So, these toes, when the whole foot was washed properly and the whole foot was tied with a cotton cloth. How? This is the thumb toe, these are the rest of the toes. These toes were folded in such a way that it came up to the sole. Okay, it joined with the sole and the thumb toe was put up like this and the whole toe, the whole feet were bound. Yes, after binding them, they would come up in such a way that they were just 4 inches of sizes. And there were also special lotus shoes designed for these feet. Okay, this was done as to show that the women were auspicious, as to bring out the auspiciousness of women. But it was a very painful process as well, because each and every person has different shoe sizes. So the women who had 6 inches or 7 inches, 9 inches, etc. shoe sizes, they had to put these kind of cloths for their whole life. It started from when they were 5 years of age, when the feet were trimmed, or when the feet were like bound and shaped in certain way, and if the shape remained the same, they did not need to bind them every day. But for some women who had different shoe sizes, they had to bind those feet each and every day till their whole life. So the bound feet, the crippled brain, as to why? Because they are brainwashed in such a way and they are not given that much of education, so they are not allowed to have intellectual thoughts. So indeed, a crippled brain. Yes, the hair in curlers. The hair in curlers, why? To look attractive. To look attractive. The hair in curlers to look attractive and appealing to the eyes. That's why the hair in curlers. And the hands you love to touch. The hands you love to touch, these 2 lines are an irony. How irony? Because there's an English proverb which goes, you do not harm those hands whom you love. And the patriarchal society is indeed harming those hands which they love to touch. So, the hands you love to touch, they are harming those hands. That's an irony presented over here. Yes, I hope you all have understood the poem. अगर कोई भी problem है, if there is any kind of problem, you can write it down below in the comment section. This is the end of the poem. Until then, Jai Hind.